Hello, and welcome to your intuitive guidance for January 15th to the 22nd. My name is Kenya Starr, and I'm very glad that you're here. It's been an interesting month already, and this week is going to be no different. It's going to continue to be a time where we have to dig internally. All of the time we've spent learning how to meditate and learn how to go for walks and take deep breaths, yoga, whatever your practices are, have really led us to a point where when things get a little more challenging and consistently challenging, as we're sort of feeling this month, it's the time to bring those practices forward and really make sure that we're doing them every single day. It's a good month in as much as, while the energy is challenging and you might feel a little bit like there's an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes you're feeling like, man, you've got this, you're clear, you know what your path is, you know you've got your to-do list, you're ready. And maybe even the same day you feel like, I'm not really sure. Is that the right thing? Should I go take another class or rethink this? Or, there's a lot of doubts and questionings that are coming up right now with the energy, and that's okay. The good news is you have your plan and you have your clarity when you're doing your meditation or your nature walks or whatever that is that connects you to source, is you have those moments of clarity and you follow those. So even when the doubts come in, you continue to stay on that path, one step in front of the other, and you follow the plan that you made while you were in that sense of clarity. Things are going to feel more aligned and things are beginning to come together. And this foundation that we're creating right now is going to last us for a long time. This is some really deep work, foundational stuff that we're building here. And I always have to remind you to don't forget to ask for help, not only from your family or friends that are around you, but also from your support team, your angels, your guides, your source, whomever it is that you connect with that gives you that sense of peace and connection. Make sure you're reaching out and you're asking for that kind of help. Now, this week is going to start off with similar energy as last week. We're also moving into a new moon tomorrow, and this is really kind of interesting because, of course, new moon is always a great time to set intentions and to begin new projects. I usually put a crystal grid out as well for my new moon and to kind of just solidify that intention, and then every day as I see that crystal grid, it just reminds me and kind of brings me back to that moment of when I set that intention on the new moon. And then, of course, that all comes to fruition on the 31st with the full moon. And as we've talked about the previous weeks, this full moon is also a supermoon, and it's also a blue moon, meaning that there are two full moons in the same month. So having a full moon, supermoon on January 1st, and then also again on January 31st, it's pretty spectacular. A lot of energy in and of itself right there. So these intentions that we're setting on our new moon tomorrow, and then just kind of touching those every day until the full moon to make sure that we're just solidifying those intentions in our day-to-day practices and in our day-to-day life. And when the full moon comes on the 31st and we're able to just step into our gratitude for what we've planted and what's growing and the progress that we've made even in that small amount of time, it's just such a beautiful way to work with the energy of the moon and to work with the energies that are all around us right now. Now, to get a little more intuitive with this, guidance that just really keeps coming through clear, not only in my readings with my clients, but even in my personal readings and connection, is the important work for us to do right now is internal. And a lot of the doubts or fears or frustrations that are coming up right now, it might feel like it's, the angry boss or the fight with your teenager or whatever. So there's a lot of things that might be mirroring frustration and anger right now. But the real work for you to do, especially this week, is internal. And boy, make sure you're giving yourself time to do that, because that requires quiet time. That requires time away from TV and cell phones and family and time to just really kind of sit with these really uncomfortable feelings that are coming up. Some of these will be a reflection of where you were at a year ago right now and intentions you were setting at that time. Maybe some of which didn't come to fruition quite the way you planned. And also some things that might be coming up are old stuff. You might think, oh my gosh, like, why is this coming up right now? I dealt with that 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Like, how many times do I have to release this particular trauma or situation? And I always remind my clients that as you know, energy goes in spirals. And so when we do deal with something and release it, we release it at that point in time with what we know and feel at that moment. And certainly months or years later, that can come back and revisit us again, because now we have a broader, deeper perspective, and we have more tools and more ability to deal with that, whatever that is that's coming up. And so it does happen, especially with deep traumas, that sometimes they do come up several times, maybe over the course of a lifetime. And that might be happening for you this month. I know I've seen that a lot. If that's true for you, don't let it, how do I say this? Don't dive into it. Don't let it drag you into that dark place. You've been there, done that. You're over it. This is just more of bringing it to an awareness as almost an observer. Ask the question one last time. Is there anything to learn from that? And if not, if there is, just take note of what that is. And very likely there won't be, and just release it. And I release things at the new moon as well. I know it's, it's for setting new intentions, but I usually release things first and then set my new intentions, but that's just how I roll. So whatever works for you. But at any rate, there's gonna probably be some deep stuff kind of bubbling up, and maybe stuff that you thought you've dealt with, and that's okay. It happens. So, don't beat yourself up over it. Don't let yourself get dragged into that. Make time to deal with that. Stay clear and consistent on your daily practice of meditation or prayer or chanting or walking or whatever your thing is. Boy, this is the time to be consistent, the very best that you can be. And also be gentle with yourself, and don't beat yourself up if you do miss something. Just recommit and get back to it the next day. Now, toward the end of the week, things are going to start to feel a little bit lighter. Some of this heavy energy is going to start to dissipate, and a little lighter energy is going to come in for us. And when you feel that, Thursday, Friday into the weekend, as you feel that energy, I would invite you to just kind of ride that tide. I think of like surfing, on a wave, and take that time to have a little fun. So go listen to some music, dance with your kids in the kitchen, maybe do something you haven't done in a long time, painting or something that you really enjoy but just haven't had time for. But just make sure that you take a little bit of time this weekend or toward the end of the week when that lighter energy comes in, and really tap into that and let that renew you, and let that help you release and kind of shake off some of this heavy stuff that we've been going through. Boy, there's just so much more. This month has got a lot going on. I guess it really just comes back to, this is a time to do your internal work. And it's good stuff. It's challenging sometimes, but this is laying awesome groundwork. This is such a great time to start new projects, start new businesses, recommit to relationships or start new relationships. There's just so much good energy for starting things, and starting things means change, and all of that sometimes can mean challenge. So challenge doesn't have to be a negative, and certainly does not have to be negative. I'll just leave it at that, because as you can tell, I could go on about this. It's just so exciting. So for our card today, I decided to use Sonia Choquette's The Answer is Simple Oracle deck. It's just really fun and light, and I felt like with all the heavy energy that we've had this month, fun and light would be good. So let's see what we came up with here. Blow off some steam. Wow, could not be more exactly right, and especially toward the end of the week and this weekend. Write it down on your schedule right now. Cross out some time for a couple hours this weekend where you can just go do something that's just for you, that's renewing, that's fun, that's joyful, and make sure you keep that appointment with yourself. I hope this has been helpful. If so, please subscribe to my channel, like, and share. Thank you.